I just realized I've been muted this entire time, so here we go. Starting the stream. We should be good to go. Alright. So, I think just gonna give one more minute to let people hop in here, and then we will start up. Alright. So let's talk about what we are doing today. Today we are going to... Oh, I hear myself. I don't want to hear. Okay. So we are going to make an adjustment to another hack that I've really enjoyed. That hack being capers. It's a mask hack for effectively creating your villain team. That came back from a something awful thread back in 2010. From there, it went through a couple of different renditions, a couple of different users, all primarily just changing the layout, not too many mechanical changes. We did see a couple of new playbooks get added and subsequently removed in other editions, and we saw the attempted start of Hood's a New Breed by a Discord member back in 2020. But inevitably, it didn't really get off the ground. So here I am now, 3 years later. And yeah, I've already done a bit of playbook design for Capers, and I want to kind of take Capers from being a masks hack to being its own game, and with that will come the name change to Hoods. To clarify any licensing issues, if we should have them, Massa New Generation is the book written by Brandon Conway and published by Magpie Games that is released under a Creative Commons Attribution 4.0 International license. So, as far as what Hoods will be, it will probably be a similar license should it take off. But that requires us to get it done. All right. So the main things that I have seen complaints about with Hood or with Capers, and the my experience is primarily coming from the Masks Discord server. So if there are other experiences, please share them. But I know that generally the players over there are, safe to say, not the biggest fans of the caper moves. The caper specific moves, not capers, but caper. Capers being the scheme mechanics. The caper moves usually are too limiting, too narrow, with some of them forcing other moves to happen. Like I know in a couple of my games, the players have arbitrarily argued with each other or something in order to create plan to finish up a plank to get to the snatch victory move, which just generally it's not really fun when we see that all taking place and really complicating the problem. So, let's see. Just gonna pull up my notes. So, a few things that I want to change stepping out of capers and into hoods. I want to work on redoing the completely removing the caper moves and adding them in, and I also want to rework the heat system. I'm thinking initially what we're going to do is remove we're not going to remove conditions, but I think we're going to lessen the effect of conditions. So conditions are only -1 instead of -2, and then have heat be applied negatively to every roll. Now, this is something where I'm going to take the time to math it out a bit pretty soon here, because this will kind of make or break the system. I understand that adding in a negative to every single roll, we might actually have it be heat -1. The thought process on that being that if heat is on a 1 to 5 scale, then starting heat off at 1 would result in players taking -1 to their rolls from the get-go. But I think that having heat impact the actual rolls is going to be beneficial in, like, yeah, when the pressure turns up, the big guy who's supposed to just be there for the punching can't really come up with the schemes as well. He's there for the punching, his instinct is to punch, and so when the pressure starts to rise, you don't want him trying to come up with the plan. You want him punching because that's what he will be good at. So it kind of plays into the strengths of the characters a bit more, is my initial thought process. We are building this primarily from the ground up. So, with a full ground up redesign of the system, there's going to be a lot of things that are just kind of left hanging. Left up until I can actually see if see if they work. Okay. So, first thing we will need is basic moves. Because generally, also, just something I like including in my design is a mechanics list. These are the bits and bobs that I get to play around with. So, uh, for masks, it would be label shift is a mechanic. Mark or clear condition is a mechanic. Potential is a mechanic. And where, yes, playbook moves do make up the large mechanics of the system, there, when I'm creating a playbook move, I can't use a playbook move to define a playbook move. But your basic moves absolutely are mechanics that you can play around with. It's just a matter of making sure that you have, or I like keeping them listed so that I know which ones I have, which ones I can work with, which ones really would fit well. So I think we're going to keep plan, although it may get a mechanical change to it, because I don't think that the current iteration of plan is executed all too well, although that may also just be an alteration with the caper moves in the future. We'll see on that. I'm going to keep the label system relatively the same, at least as of right now. So, shifting labels is a mechanic that we can use. The main thing I am considering changing for the label system is, at the very least, the names need to get reworked on Menace and Trouble to make it more clear as to what they actually do. Marking and clearing a condition definitely is still a pair of mechanics within this system. We are going to keep conditions. It's a question of how effective they will be. Heat is going to stick around, and let's see. So we also had assets and infamy get added in with capers, but I don't know if I'm going to keep those. I'm going to keep a potential adjacent move or mechanic, because I think that keeping that fail forward is generally a good thing. Oh, mic's a little close. Sorry about that. I think keeping fail forward is a good thing for pretty much all PBTA. Most PBTA, I would say, thrives off of having that basis of failing forward so that you don't have a narrative shutdown of like, well, I just failed, cool, guess I'm not getting better, guess I'm just gonna do nothing. We don't really want that in PBTA. That's fine in D&D or like some other war game, but PBTA is narrative first, and so we want to keep that narrative moving. As far as plan moves, there is meddling, which I think I might make meddling a basic move. but melling also kind of works with the caper system, so I'll just mark it there. The caper system. Gotta be kind of finicky about word usage on those. And then stopping to gloat. I think gloat has to be its own basic move. I don't think it really works in the space of a in the space of just like a plan move. I I can see where it benefits from being specialized, but I don't think that benefit is large enough to actually like should be considered. Uh, at least as highly as it is. So glow is one mechanic that we will have. Some, or a basic move. We need some fight move. I don't know if I want provoke or persuade, but I think that having some NPC influence type move would be beneficial to us. Ooh, do we want to keep the influence system? I'm not actually sure on that. Because I can see like influence could be pretty beneficial, but I don't know if we actually really need influence. We'll keep influence on the back burner right now. And so reject other people's influence isn't going to be a basic move or basic move. We need at least one investigation move. It could be split up into a detect feelings like pierce the mask and detect place like assess. But I'm not really sure if that would be like the best split. We're gonna have to look into that once we start. Once we start designing the actual moves. We're gonna need distract. I guess it's a bit more optional compared to some of the other ones, but given the game that we're playing, I think a distraction, a designated distraction uh, move would be good to have. And lastly, we need a catch. Some catch-all move. Basically, every PBTA has it. If you're wondering what it is in Masks, it's Unleash. The primary goal for the catch-all move, is, well, what else should I be rolling? Know what? Just roll this. So yeah, catch-all move is definitely something that I would recommend every time. So that pretty much will cover basic move list. Hmm. Yeah. Let's get started on actually writing this stuff up. So, gloating. When you stop to gloat or demoralize, I don't know what the proper terminology should be for this. I don't like someone. I get that it has to be vague. And I know that someone probably is the best that we're going to get, but I don't like it. I feel like there's so much more that I could be doing. Or there's something else that I could be doing other than someone. But I don't think there's actually really any better option here. So I think we'll leave this. Yeah, I guess we'll leave it at oh, we should probably actually figure out our labels. So, thinking for this system, 5 labels should be. Do we want 5 labels? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cool. So 6 options with 5 labels would be doubling stuff up. Hmm. I'm just checking out some of my other pieces right now. So I definitely think we need a strength type of label. Thinking up a new mechanic for the game, we could add in a stability. Something that you gotta balance out before you just lose control of your powers or something. So I think stability might be something that we add in. It might replace conditions. All kind of depends. Give me 1 minute. I'm gonna go grab water. Remember to hydrate or dehydrate. So, in terms of labels, we definitely want a some powers related label. I think we might do a little thing and have there be two options. So you could fight with strength or you could fight with powers. You can gloat with, I don't know, I think we'll have some intellect, at least intellect triggering ability to take care of that investigation, to take care of that provoke, persuade, and potentially take care of the distract as well. Oh, this is another thing, just general like design tip. With your catch, don't just say that like, and this is the throwaway. Roll whichever one you think is applicable. On a 7 to 9, do a mixed. On a 10 plus, do a good thing. On a miss, make things worse. Like, you don't want to have that. You do want to still have a defined move. I think Masks does a really good job with that, of giving a specific trigger to Unleash, even though Unleash is definitely the catch type of move. But yeah, it doesn't just like say, well, roll whichever of the abilities. No, it defines that it's freak. On a miss, you're going to either take a condition or it's going to be temporary or unstable. And on a 10 plus, yeah, it just works. On miss, it doesn't work, and something goes wrong. So, yeah, I think Mass does a really good job with its catch. Don't have the catch just be a list and be like, well, pick, do something like that. That shouldn't be a dedicated move, because if people just need a catch move, they can just make a catch move. They could just say, well, uh, there's no rule for riding a dinosaur into town to steal a bagel or like something like that. Like, there's no ruling for that, so let me just make it up, roll this. I know that 7 through 9 is a mixed. I know that 10 plus is a success. And I know that below that is a miss. So I think that that is something that like a catch should not be. It should not be so incredibly vague. So we have a strength, a powers, an intellect. Let's see. Hmm. I think I like spite as a specific label, and it's going to probably be used for the demoralize and for the provoke. Spite is there to be that like emotional like whipping. It's like, it's not I'm better than you, it's I'm going to put you down. Uh sort of energy. Whereas whichever intellect is going to be the I'm the best. gloat is going to be a roll plus either intellect or spite. Um, there is going to be a decision that has to get made. Oh, tethers. Oh, I nearly forgot. So, what tethers are going to be is the things that are stopping you from becoming a full villain. So, it might be your moral code. It might be like, I would say, Two-Face, Harvey Dent. Uh, he has a very clear and iconic tether. He has the coin. He will not be a full villain because if he's a villain or not is 100% random. It is based off of a coin flip. So that is one tether that I would, or that is one example of what I would say. Hey, I'm thinking of for a tether, where you can still be bad, you can still be a bad guy, you can still do villainous things, but the thing that keeps you from being a full-fledged villain is a tether. I would say the Joker is the classic example of has zero tethers. He is not like there's nothing holding him back. He will do anything. He will be a full-fledged pure evil villain. That's that's it. He's going to be a villain. Um let's see who would be some other like Thanos in Infinity War, I would say has the obvious tether of he is trying to make everything balanced. He is trying to make things fair. A tether is his moral compass, or his not really moral compass, moral quandary, his established understanding of he will not kill everybody, he will only kill half. He's a big proportions guy, he's a big fraction guy. He will not take anything more than half. So your tethers are the things that, while you are still a villain, you or while you are yeah, while you are still a villain or doing villainous things, you aren't a full evil villain. I think that that should be the correct terminology. Full evil, pure evil. And absolutely, I believe that a tether could be a moral compass. I think a lot of your anti-villains, so like Dr. Freeze, Red Hood, um, I think that they would fall into having a tether of their moral compass. Mr. Freeze is only breaking his moral compass for his wife. He is still tethered to that moral compass. He still doesn't want to be a pure evil villain. Uh, Red Hood doesn't want to be a pure evil villain. He wants to be a hero. He wants to protect people. It's just that the way that he goes about it can push him towards being a full evil, or can push him in a villainous path. Okay. So I think we're good with the 4 labels right now. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to mark down. We need to do something with civilian life. In masks, that primarily takes the spot of the mundane label and is kind of pressured in by the GM, by the expectation of the game. But uh the stress is that you are teenage superheroes, and so you should have that mundane life stepping in. I think that uh in integrating that civilian life in with the villains as well would probably improve the game, improve the story. I don't think I want that to be a something that can just get thrown away. Some like optional uh variant rule or whatever. I think that having your villains be still have human commitment, still have civilian regular people stuff to do outside of just being a villain would be beneficial to the system and necessary to the system. Beneficial to the story. So I don't think I'm going to have there be a mundane type of label because I don't think that mundane should just be a label. I think it should have a more full presence in the story. It should be a bit more fleshed out. So I think we'll leave it with 4 labels right now. Whatever our strength is, whatever our powers are, whatever our intellect is, and whatever, and spite. So when you stop to gloat or demoralize someone, mechanics plus X forward/ongoing. I'm not gonna say +1 because if we do implement heat as a heat -1 gets reduced to every roll, uh, we definitely want other ways of increasing. So maybe a larger cost exchange could exist where you're taking a condition for like +2 ongoing. But, and to clarify, forward is for the next roll, ongoing is for the rest of the scene. Scene, setting, yeah, scene. I don't really know how to define scene beyond like what's already standardized and what's already here. Hmm. So when you stop to gloat or demoralize someone, roll plus intellect or spite. On a hit. Um. Hmm. I think that gloat can take out the provokes. We just needed some persuade type of thing. Oh yeah, and then some more vague mechanics that we have would be opportunities. I think that I'm gonna keep those over from masks, but opportunities are just kind of a narrative value. It doesn't have an exact like correlation. You can't say, well, one opportunity or one opportunity value is equal to a small favor versus you can trade in 5 opportunity value to take out the BBG. Like, no. It's to use statistic, qualitative. It's a qualitative mechanic instead of a quantitative. Uh, Just trying to think if I should include a caper move style of interaction as a basic move, but I still think I'm gonna hold off and we can work on capers once the rest of the system starts to show itself a bit. Okay. So gloat on a hit. I'll hit your words. Cut deep. Ten plus. Choose one. Mm. I think we should definitely have something at least related to the influence system. Now, the more that I think about it, because there's not. There has to be some mechanic that makes NPCs care about your words. Because, like, of course, we can do that with players, where like, just like have your character actually care about the words, but that they say, and we can do that with shift labels. But for NPCs, that doesn't really apply. They don't have labels to be shifted, and adding that in where NPCs have their own labels is just going to put a lot more work on the GM, who then has to think up, like, okay, what's this person's labels, as well as which ones of them are locked or something, as well as just like, okay, which labels don't really work, because hoods is going to be a different system from masks, so we definitely need an influence like, not really even influence like, it just has to be an NPC uh, interaction mechanic. Mm-hmm. So I think we'll hold on adjusting the move. Presently, what we have is when you stop to glue or demoralize someone, roll plus. I guess instead of gain an opportunity, it should just be gain a significant opportunity against them. Difference being that I think there would be an assumption that you have an opportunity on them on a hit, your words cut deep. So a full reading of the mechanic would be, or the move is, when you stop to glow or demoralize someone, roll plus intellect or spite. On a hit, your words cut deep. On a 10 plus, choose one. The options being a benefit off NPC interaction mechanic, gain a significant opportunity against them, and gain a plan. Don't dislike it so far. Oh, but yeah. I think I'm going to call it here. I think I got a good couple of ideas down. And we'll see when I come back to this. Kind of like it so far. It's just going to be about finishing it out. All right. Thank you all for showing up. Hope your day is amazing.